What does it take to become one of the most feared men on earth? A name whispered in fear, a shadow that governments couldn't catch. This is the story of Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, also known as El Mencho, from poverty to power, from the streets to a global empire. And then, the question that still haunts millions, is he dead or still out there? First, we will talk about his early life. Born in a small rural town in Mexico, life for El Mencho was hard. No luxury, no opportunities, just survival. His family struggled every single day. And like many young boys around him, he had two choices: stay poor forever or risk everything. And he chose risk. As a teenager, he didn't dream of becoming famous. He just wanted to escape poverty. So he crossed into the United States illegally, hoping for a better life. But what he found was something much darker. In America, he didn't become a success story. Instead, he entered the world of crime. Small jobs turned into dangerous connections, and soon he got involved in drug trafficking. But his journey wasn't smooth. He was arrested, sent to prison, and for many, that would have been the end. But for El Mencho, that was just the beginning. After being deported back to Mexico, something changed. He wasn't just a poor boy anymore. He had learned the system, understood power, and most importantly, he had no fear left. He joined the cartel world and slowly rose through the ranks, not because he was lucky, but because he was ruthless. In 2009, El Mencho became the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG. And this is where things became terrifying. CJNG didn't just operate like a normal cartel. They were organized, militarized, and extremely violent. They didn't hide their power. They showed it. Videos of armed men, armored trucks, heavy weapons. It looked less like a cartel and more like an army under El Mencho's leadership. CJNG became one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world. And his enemies, they didn't just lose, they disappeared. El Mencho didn't just fight rival cartels. He challenged the government itself. His cartel shot down military helicopters, attacked police forces. Imagine that. A criminal taking on an entire nation and surviving. This made him one of the most wanted men on earth. The US government even placed a $10 million bounty on his head. But still, no one could catch him. There's one moment that perfectly captures who El Mencho really was. A moment that isn't just about violence, but about pure psychological control. At one point, a police officer reportedly received a direct threat linked to Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes.
Relaja tus putas partidas, si no te voy a partir tu madre a ti toda tu bola de perros. Te tengo identificado 30 güeyes. Hasta tus putos perros te voy a matar si no te relajas, güey.
The El Mencho, after listening to this call. Recording, we can say that it was not a warning, not a negotiation, but a threat. Cold, direct, and terrifying. His power wasn't just about fear, but also about money. And when we talk about the wealth of Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, we have to separate facts from exaggeration. Because unlike celebrities, there is no official net worth. But according to multiple law enforcement estimates, his personal wealth is believed to be somewhere between $500 million to over $1 billion, and that's just him. The cartel he leads, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, is estimated to generate billions of dollars every year through global drug trafficking operations. Let that sink in. Billions. Every single year. This wasn't money sitting in banks. It was hidden, moved, washed through networks, spread across properties, businesses, and secret routes, which means the real number could be even higher, and that's what makes his empire so dangerous. Because when money reaches that level, it doesn't just buy luxury, it buys power, When people hear the name Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, they think of violence, power, and fear. But behind that image, there was also a family. El Mencho's wife is Rosalinda Gonzalez Valencia, and she wasn't just a cartel wife. She was deeply connected to the criminal world herself. She comes from the Valencia family, a powerful group with long ties to organized crime in Mexico. But what made her role even more important was her involvement in financial operations. Authorities believe she played a key role in managing and laundering money for the cartel. Quiet, low profile, but extremely influential. She was arrested multiple times by Mexican authorities, and her capture was seen as a major blow to El Mencho's network, because taking down the money hurts more than taking down the muscle. El Mencho has several children, but the most well-known is his son, Ruben Oseguera Gonzalez, also known as El Menchito. And unlike many cartel children, he didn't stay in the shadows. He followed his father's path. From a young age, he was involved in cartel operations, learning the business, preparing to inherit the empire. At one point, he was considered second in command of CJNG, but his story took a different turn. He was captured by authorities and later extradited to the United States. Now, he faces serious charges that could keep him behind bars for life. There are also reports of daughters and extended family members, but unlike his son, they have mostly stayed out of the spotlight, hidden, protected, away from the chaos. Because in a world like this, family can be both a strength and a weakness. Besides money, power, and fame, El Mencho's life wasn't easy as he spent his entire life hiding from Mexican police and army. And then, after years of hiding, after escaping death again and again, it finally caught up to him, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes. According to multiple reports, in his final hours, El Mencho wasn't in a battlefield, he wasn't leading an army, he wasn't surrounded by chaos, he was hiding, deep inside a secluded location in Tapalpa, Jalisco, a place meant to keep him safe, a place where he believed no one could reach him. And, most importantly, he wasn't alone. Reports suggest he was with a romantic partner, someone he trusted, someone close. And this is where the story takes a dark turn. Because according to intelligence reports, authorities didn't just randomly find him. They tracked him through someone close to him. Some reports claim that his location was discovered after monitoring movements linked to his girlfriend or romantic partner. Others even suggest that this meeting, this moment of trust, was the very thing that exposed him. But here's the truth. There is no confirmed evidence that she intentionally betrayed him. Some viral rumors even named individuals, but officials have never confirmed their involvement. So, was it betrayal or just a mistake? No one knows. But what we do know is this. The moment authorities confirmed his location, everything changed. Mexican military forces, backed by intelligence, surrounded the area. What followed was chaos. Gunfire erupted, explosions echoed through the mountains. His men fought back, desperately, but this time, there was no escape. Several cartel members were killed on the spot. Others were injured, including El Mencho himself, wounded, bleeding. For the first time, the man who built an empire of fear was no longer in control. He tried to escape, moving through nearby hideouts, but the forces closed in. Eventually, he was found, injured, surrounded, with no way out. Authorities rushed him out, airlifting him for medical treatment, but it was already too late. Some reports say he died during transport. Others suggest he succumbed to his injuries shortly after, but the outcome was the same. One of the most powerful drug lords in the world was gone, Not in a palace, not surrounded by power, but wounded, on the run, just like the many lives destroyed by his empire. His death didn't bring peace, it brought chaos. After his death, violence erupted across Mexico. Roads were blocked, vehicles burned, because when a man like El Mencho falls, the world he built doesn't fall quietly. And maybe that's the real story, not how he lived, not how he ruled, but how it ended. Not with power, not with control, but with uncertainty, betrayal, and a silence. That still raises one question. Was this the fall of a king, or just another chapter in a story that refuses to end?